So I'm pretty sure everybody knows the story of Adam and Eve, correct? And how God told them that they could eat from any tree except the one in the middle of the garden. But guess what happened? Yes, Adam and Eve disobeyed God and ate from the forbidden tree. So because of their sin, God punished them and made them leave their beautiful home. For the rest of their lives, Adam and Eve would have to work to have food and a place to live. They could no longer walk with God in the garden anymore, but they didn't forget God. And God did not forget them either. God still loved them and took care of them. And so after Adam and Eve sinned, the Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 4 that God gave Adam and Eve 2 sons. The firstborn was named Cain, who became a farmer who worked on the land to grow food. The second one was named Abel, who was a shepherd who looked after sheep. So as Cain and Abel grew up, they worked very hard at their jobs, and with God's help, the plants and the sheep grew well. However, Cain and Abel were just like the other siblings, where they didn't always get along. But they were brothers and still loved each other very much despite their occasional fights. So Adam and Eve, their mom and dad, told Cain and Abel about the message God gave them, and it was about sacrificing a lamb to God to show how much they appreciated all that God has done for them till now and how sorry they were for their sins. So Abel was very concerned about what sacrifices he needed to give since it was his heart to God. So Abel, the second son, chose his first and best lamb and offered it to the Lord. It was hard for Abel to give up his most prized possession, which was a lamb at the time, but it was important for him to try his best to do as God has asked him. Cain, the first son, on the other hand, thought his little brother Abel was a bit silly for giving up his best lamb. Cain thought, we need that lamb. God doesn't. I'm sure God would just be happy with the little things we give him. In fact, why does it need to be a lamb at all? Since lamb was very expensive back then. And Cain continued saying, I'm a farmer and it's been a great year for my wheat crop. So why don't I just burn some of the extra straws I have here? That way I won't be wasting any and God wouldn't mind. So Cain watched as the lamb burned up completely on the altar while his leftover straw glowed up just a little bit and never really caught on fire. So there's a difference here between Cain and Abel's sacrifice. And not surprisingly, God was only pleased with Abel's offering, which was the second son's offering. And God saw the heart behind each offering, and God liked Abel's sacrifice and heart more. And the reason why God was not pleased with Cain's offering, who was the first son, was because Cain did not show he was truly thankful for all of God's help and did not sincerely believe in God. So when God accepted Abel's sacrifice but rejected Cain's, Cain was very angry. He didn't want God to tell him what to give. Cain wanted to decide for himself. His anger wasn't good because it came from his pride and was selfish. Cain was jealous of Abel and he was mad at God. So God spoke to Cain and said, Why are you angry, Cain? If you do what is right, I will be pleased with you. But if you keep on doing wrong things, I must punish you. The Lord warned Cain that his selfish anger was dangerous. But Cain didn't seem to listen to God's warning. He was just jealous of his brother because Abel pleased God and he didn't. That's why each time Cain thought about what happened, he grew angrier and angrier. So one day, when he was in the field with Abel, Cain let his anger rule, and he killed his brother. Immediately, Cain wanted to hide his sin and Abel's death, since he didn't think that anyone saw what had happened and what he did. And when Cain realized what he had just done, which was murdering his own brother, he was more concerned about someone might have seen what happened rather than being sorry for his brother's death. So he looked around and took a deep breath in relief that no one was nearby. When Cain returned home, his father and mother asked about Abel, but he lied that he didn't know anything about him and what happened to him. But God sensed that something was wrong. So a little while later, God called to Cain, asking, "Cain, where is Abel, your brother?" However, Cain pretended not to know anything and lied, saying, "I don't know, Lord. Am I supposed to take care of my brother at all times?" But God already knew that Cain killed Abel. Sin cannot be hidden from God because He knows all the things that you guys do. But God knew everything already, but still gave Cain another chance and opportunity to confess and repent. However, Cain's rebellion continued as he denied, saying he didn't know what happened to Abel. So God cried out, saying, "Cain, what are you saying? I know you killed Abel, so you must be punished." God was very angry and continued, saying, "Cain, you must leave your home and your fields, and from now on, nothing you plant will grow, and you will be forced to move from place to place." Cain was very sad when he heard this. He didn't want to leave his home, and he was afraid that people would try to kill him if they found out what he had done to Abel. Even though Cain had done a terrible thing, God still loved him. Wow. God told Cain that no one would kill him. Then God put a special mark on Cain so everyone who saw him would know that they shouldn't kill him. But at the same time, no one would be willing to help him. Cain was very sad about leaving home. God was sad too. But Cain chose not to obey God. But you know what's the worst part of this? The worst news is that God would no longer be with Cain, and that was going to be the hardest thing ever. Cain fell to the ground sobbing. Finally, he felt the horror of what he had done. And Cain had to live with that feeling and the knowledge that he had murdered his little brother for the rest of his life. But that was a choice that he made.
Of the Bible, Cain and Abel's offering. This is Adam.
Hi.
And this is Eve.
Hi!
They were the first man and woman that God created. Adam and Eve had 2 sons. The first son was named Cain, and their second son was Abel. When Cain and Abel grew up, Abel became a shepherd.
Come on, sheep.
While Cain became a farmer. When it was time for the harvest, Cain and Abel both brought gifts to God. Cain gathered some of the fruit of the ground and gave it to God.
Here you go.
God wasn't pleased with Cain and his gift, and this made Cain upset. God asked, "Why are you so angry? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted?" God warned Cain about sin. God told Cain to be careful to not let sin control him, but instead to take control of sin.
Wow.
Abel also gave a gift to God.
Here you go.
Abel gave God the best part of his firstborn sheep from his flock. God was very pleased with Abel and his gift because he had given the best of what he had.
All right.